What's up, everyone? Um, we just had a monster of a weekend, and if I was bold enough to cover the results of everything, we'd be here for quite a while. So this is going to be like I guess in a sense, a summary of the weekend. Um, I don't know what else to do. I mean, I could. There was so much on. There was so much. I was watching, talking about with friends. There's a lot of storylines. Um, this would be a super huge. This would be a super huge video, but I think the best thing to do is just kind of give a summary of everything, and that's it. So I got some things lined up. We'll go through them. If you have any questions, obviously questions, comments, suggestions, feel free to jump in. There's, between Monster NASCAR and Formula One and IndyCar and Formula E, Blancpain, Formula 2, Formula 3. All right, so let me see what I got here. Checking my notes. All right, bear with me 1 second. All right, so let's get into it a little bit. I have some things scattered around over on the screen over here. We have highlights of the Formula E that's just running in the background. Up top, we have WTCR highlights, and it was a potpourri of racing. It was just a ton. So, all right, here we go. We'll start off with Zandvoort with the GT4 European Series. Race number 2, which is showing on the big screen over here. I have standings of that race over here. So we'll just do the top 5 places. Don't want to take up too much time with, some things we'll go through top 10, top 5, maybe top 3, but top 5 spots for GT4 European race at Zandvoort, race number 2. We have in the BMW M4 GT. Let me see. Bear with me. We have the BMW M4 GT4 with Knapp and Udell coming in the first overall. Congratulations to them. Second place, Van der End and McKay. They were in a M4 GT4 also. Second place. Third place, McKay and Lasenis in a McLaren 570 GT4. Awesome. Fourth place, Casil and Cobalt in an AMG GT4. Right, that was fourth. Fifth, Fabregas and Muller Madsen in an Audi R8 LMS GT4. I love GT4. I just love seeing these types of cars modified around really nice tracks like this. So they had a good weekend. Everything was good. We're going to move on. All right. Next thing on the list, swing over. We're going to go to the NASCAR Monster Energy NASCAR Series at the Kentucky Speedway, and that was on Saturday. Big race, very exciting, with the Busch brothers putting on a little bit of a show, which was very exciting. So if any of you happen to catch that, but we'll do the top 10 on this because it was great. I'm glad that NASCAR had a really good race, made up for last weekend at Daytona that got a little bit washed out. So good for them. It was good. First place, We have Kurt Busch, who obviously first place and led for 41 laps, beating out his brother, Kyle Busch, came in second place, who happened to lead for 72 laps. So, good win for Kurt. Third place, Eric Jones. Fourth place, Kyle Larson. Fifth place, Denny Hamlin. Sixth place, Clint Boyer. Seventh, Joey Logano. Eighth was Daniel Suarez. Ninth, Ryan Newman. And 10th, Chris Buescher. Awesome. I don't know how many of you happen to catch that race. It was a lot of fun to watch. I was definitely into it, but hey, feedback always welcome here. All right, let me know what you think. Let's see. That was on. Let's take a look at that. We'll run that in the background for a little bit here before we move on. As this is running in the background, just want to mention, as always, your support is great. I love the support of the viewers. Please, you can always click follow here on Periscope or on my YouTube channel at Flyin18T, Flyin, the number 1, the number 8, the letter T. So that's YouTube, Periscope, Instagram, and of course Twitter. Twitter is home base. You can always reach me on Twitter. Questions, comments, suggestions, direct messages, always shoot it out to Twitter. But feel free to jump in here. Also, I'm taking a little bit of a pit stop here. Anyone who is interested in coming on to the stream live, more than welcome. Just shoot me a direct message on Twitter, and it would be good to kind of have that objective feedback. I try to be as objective as possible. Hey, listen, nobody's perfect, but it would be good to have someone else to bounce ideas off of, and I'm open to openly inviting all viewers, followers, to join me one at a time. 1 week, maybe have one person come in and jump in with commentary, bounce some ideas off of, and I would value the additional input, and it would be kind of fun. Get to see inside the minds of the viewers here, and see where everyone's passions lie with what forms of racing, and we could definitely plan ahead what racing we would want to cover and discuss and spend some time on in some future casts. So that'd be fun. Once again, let me know. Always send me a direct message in Twitter, and be more than happy to explore that option with anyone. That would be a lot of fun. Okay, so let's move on. Let's go to let me see what we got here. Bear with me. We're going to check out let's go to Formula One. I think I said that. Let's go top 10 of Formula One. Obviously, great race, a lot of fun. It was pretty wicked watching, obviously, the Ferraris and Red Bull. I don't know if this is going to be good for racing, bad for racing. I think you have my opinion based on some past race wrap-up streams that I've done. I think it was at the Canadian Grand Prix where you had, that was between Vettel and Hamilton. But now you have Leclerc and Verstappen. They seem to be like oil and water. So I think what you have, then you had Verstappen and Hamilton over at Monaco, where cars in open wheel racing, you have cars banging into each other or being hyper aggressive. It's a hard sell for me where that is acceptable racing, especially in open wheel racing. I absolutely think there's a time and place for it in other forms of racing, for sure. But in open wheel racing at the highest level, such as Formula One, it gets a little dicey, a little hairy, and a little dangerous. and it would be an absolute tragedy if something were to happen while a racer feeling justified in trying to pull off a move that involved bumping wheels because they feel that that's racing, in open wheel racing, that's acceptable, and then something were to happen, it would be a tragedy. So I'm not a fan of it, and I honestly would, I do kind of, it's hard for me to accept. I've seen things happen, and I just don't think it has a place in open wheel racing. I want to be very clear. Open wheel racing, such as Formula One. Okay, so let's get into final running order. And the reason, of course, why I mentioned that, you had Vettel getting into the back of Verstappen, and that was one thing, but that was Vettel locking up his brakes. He apologized to Verstappen afterwards. That was all one kind of separate issue. But you did have Verstappen and Leclerc going at it again. It seems to be a pattern developing, and this time it seemed as though Leclerc had the opportunity to kind of give back to Verstappen after Austria, and where Verstappen just blatantly pushed Leclerc off the track. I think Leclerc decided, and it looked like he made a very conscious decision to fight back hard against Verstappen, and stuck his line on the inside and really put his car in a spot that they, where they bumped. Verstappen, of course, not going to give any room. He's just an aggressive driver, and they touched, could have gotten hairy. Leclerc came out on the worst side of it, damaging his car a little bit, and that was that. It's going to get, something's going to happen. I hate to say it. In open wheel, you can't mess around banging wheels in open wheel racing like that. A little scary. All right. Anyway, top 10. So the ultimate finish for Formula One. Congratulations to Lewis Hamilton. Ran a great race. Mercedes just incredibly strong. Second place, Valtteri Bottas. Third, Charles Leclerc. Fourth, Pierre Gasly. Fifth, Max Verstappen. Excuse me. Sixth place, Carlos Sainz. Seventh, Daniel Ricciardo. Eighth, Kimi Räikkönen. Ninth, Daniel Kvyat. And then 10th, Nico Hülkenberg. All right, that wraps up top 10 for Formula One. I think we're going to move on a little bit here. I don't want to get too wrapped up in my opinions on that. Okay, so we have. Let me see what we got here. We got that. We got that. We'll go to the. Before we skip forward, and I apologize for jumping around. There's a lot of things I wanted to cover. If you were watching the Red Bull, if you watched Pierre Gasly on his Red Bull pit stop, they broke a world record today. Well, not today, during the race. He took on 4 new tires, came in, stopped, had 4 tires changed, and got out of there in 1.9 seconds. Just watch. Really? Each one of those guys absolutely nailed what they had to do. Very impressive, very great job. Not much else to say there. That was Red Bull. They're looking strong this year. Good for them. I mean, they deserve the attention. They've obviously been working hard, both on and off the track. And great pit stop. And, wish them nothing but the continued success. So, okay, let's go to IndyCar. So, we have the Honda IndyCar Toronto, and this is courtesy of the official YouTube channel for IndyCar. And we'll go through the top 10 of that. And winning that race was Simon Pagenaud. Congratulations to him. Ran a very strong race. Scott Dixon in second, Alexander Rossi in third, Joseph Newgarden in fourth, Felix Rosenqvist in fifth, James Hinchcliffe in sixth, Colton Herta in seventh, Sebastian Bourdais in eighth, Graham Rahal ninth, and Marco Andretti in 10th. It was a great race from start to finish. Right now we're seeing a very quick clip of Robert Wickens, who led the parade lap of the cars prior to the race in a specially prepped Acura NSX that was utilizing hand controls. So coming back from a spinal cord injury in racing last year, he's looking to get back into an IndyCar seat in the near future. He's recovering in a very aggressive manner. God bless him. Wish him all the best, and hope he does make it all the way back. That would be an amazing feat. So that wraps up Honda IndyCar of the Indy race at Toronto. And then Formula E. I mean, in a day where you have, where did I put it? Let's see where we can find that here. Oh, I'm sorry. I have it on the other side. So, Formula E, we had a title determined. Jean-Eric Vergne has been crowned the champion, the first Formula E two-time champion, two-time consecutive champion. We had Robin Freins win the race, but Jean-Eric Vergne went on to win the championship in a race where it was sweltering hot. Couldn't have been a clear day, couldn't have been a sunnier day, couldn't have been a hotter day. And for those cars to perform and for that event to go on without a hitch, and for all the fans that were there, it was just a great event. It was a hot event, which, just very briefly, for all the racing that's coming up this weekend, anything that's going to be, if I take a very quick look, okay, not as much racing this weekend as the last couple weekends, but this weekend, especially in the Northeast United States, you're looking at temperatures between 95 to 100 degrees. The one race where I do feel bad is the IMSA WeatherTech Championship at Lime Rock this Saturday. That's going to be hot, extremely hot. So please try to stay cool this weekend. But I believe that's a wrap. As I mentioned, please contact me on Twitter at Flyin18T. Would love to have people join me on the stream, and as special guests. The top tweet stream is going to continue. I did one of those earlier last week, and it went well. So stay tuned for that. And that's about it. All right. I appreciate everyone watching. Thank you very much, and hope to see everyone real soon. All right. Take care.